Okay. Hello, everyone. Today is December 1st, and that's the official community meeting for the Harbor project. My name is Orlin Vasilev. I'm the community manager for the project. Please add your topics at the community meetings link that I've provided in the chat, so we can keep track of what's discussed and what we need to discuss further. With that, I'm going to share my screen with that agenda for today. And I'm going to go one by one. So Stone Zhang, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing names. The stage is yours. Do you want to share or should I share the issue?
I will share this issue.
Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen. Have a PPT. Sorry. Hello, it's Stone, and today I will introduce the database performance tips. Recent weeks, we are working on improving the performance of the internal Harbor instance, and we found that the Harbor performance is heavily reliant on the database. Here, I share some of our experience in Harbor database tuning and what we have done to improve it. First is the idle in transaction. In the Harbor instance, with Harbor 2.1.3, we found that there are a lot of database connection stay in idle in transaction state, and it consumes a lot of database connection because when a connection in the state in this state, it is just exclusively occupied by a client, and the other client have to wait the transaction end to reuse it. It will reduce the throughput of the database. We found that the root cause of this issue is that we have some HTTP middleware to handle transaction. And this transaction middleware will start a transaction when a request comes, and commit a request when the request complete. But it could be a problem when the database operation is only a small fraction of the request. For example, a get manifest request. Most of the time is spent on transferring the content of the manifest file, and the database operation may be only a small fraction of this. And the rest of the time, the database connection is in the idle in transaction state. This is the time that idle in transaction state. After Harbor 2.3, we have skipped most of the read-only request, which you could check in middlewares .go file. We have middlewares.go files. We skipped a lot of read-only request. This is the first one I need to share. And the second one is related to the Harbor installed on Kubernetes. When we want to scale up the Harbor core pod for the better performance, please be aware that the max database connection should be considered. For example, when the max open connection for each core is 500, and there is also have a limit in the server side. This is the database server, and the server side limited the maximum connection is 1,500. When the Harbor core pod is 3, there are 3 Harbor core pods. The total is just 1,500. And when you want to scale up the pod to 4, then you should update the max open connection max open connection to 300 for each hub core, because the total database connection database connections will exceed the database the max database connection in the server side, right? If we just scale to 4, then we are 2,000 database connections, and it will exceed the database settings in the server side. When the database connection exceeds the server side, it will the Docker client will receive our 500 error in the Docker client when it exceeds. The last one is the database log. As we know, the database log could be a raw level, or a table level. Most of the update only requires raw level log. This is the most efficient way, but in some scenarios, it could be a bottleneck of the performance. We have some testing pipeline which pulls the artifact every 5 minutes, and there are a lot of requests comes to the hub server, and they update the pull count and pull time of the same artifact and the same repository, because the database log it costs the database log quite often. Currently, we provide an option to disable the pull time and pull count in Hub 2.3.5 patch. And we also will provide a better way to update the pull count and pull time less often in future release. And another topic we need to talk about it. There are a lot of users using Postgres SQL with master-slave replication mode. They want to install Harbor with the slave instance. But so far, Harbor doesn't support this type of installation. There are some middlewares could redirect the request to slave database node and redirect the write request to the master database node. So it could help improve the scalability of the Hub instance. If you have any experience or best practice on this topic, welcome to share it in our community meeting or Slack channel. Thank you. That's all for the database improvement.
Thank you. About that, do you think that can be formalized in some form of blog posts or something with some measurement and to be published as like a white paper or something? Because maybe it's not just you, but many other people are. Maybe they have the same problem without knowing it and how to fix that. What do you think?
Yeah, for the first one, we have fixed it in 2.3, and for the I think for the second one, we should better add some document in Hub Ham to aware or to make user aware of these tips. And for the third one, we still, I think we will add some document in the release notes of 2.3.5. Right? And also we also will improve this feature in future release. But currently we have no formal document for this. We just have a PPT.
Yeah, for the second one, Stone, maybe we can add some tips in the FAQ. I'm not sure you that a good place.
Blog post was just a proposal how we can formalize it and present it to the community. It doesn't need to be blog post. Any form of documenting it would be useful, I think.
Yeah, I think we can later we can write a blog post for this content.
That would be great.
Yeah, also, I'm not sure Vadim is on the call, right? So Vadim, you previously you mentioned you have run some Harbor instance in regiscontainer.com, right? So I'm not sure if you face any performance problem if you have any experience
So
in the performance, yeah.
Yeah, we had performance problems specifically with the database connections. And as you already mentioned in slide number 2, that it's much improved in version 2.3 because there is not so many idle connections anymore. And also what helped for us is kind of a dropping idle connections or closing, having this timeout that was also introduced into 2.0 as having a timeout on idle connections. So now that the connections are widely reduced, and also I think that on the slide number 3, you mentioned the max connection limit. But you have to, or the user has to take into account that there is not only the Harbor core who is connecting to the database, there is also the job service and all those other services. So they all accumulate for the max open connection. So as a user, you need to take into account the whole state or the whole application with all other services as well, because they all contribute to the connection pool. And so you have to set it accordingly, and not but on the other hand, I mean, we are using a managed Postgres database on our site. So, and it's kind of big one. So we don't see that much of a problems there. So there's from our side it's okay. It's not a big issue except for the connections, and now it's getting better with the connections. So the connections problem is, I would say, it's resolved. And now, yeah, maybe there is on large scale query, maybe there may be a problem, but we didn't face any problems so far.
Okay. Do you have any data regarding the concurrent pull request in your instance?
I can get you some data if you want. Yeah, I can ask for data. And what do you have something particular in mind?
Yeah, we want to know. I mean, just scalability. I mean, how many concurrent pull requests normally in a real world Harbor instance can serve.
Concurrent pull requests. Yeah, I can try to get this information. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd also like to have the Postgres database connection constraint. I mean, if you can share the graphic about the database monitor to that we want to see if there are any log in the database, and if you can share the trend for us at the connection count.
Okay, you mean regarding logs on the database?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dodge can share how to get the outcome with a Postgres SQL.
Yeah, we have a performance test on the. Sorry, I need to find out the. This is the conference page of the.
Are we waiting for something? Or maybe my connection
Yeah.
dropped. Sorry.
Yeah. This is our performance test on the
I thought
our
you
instance. Yeah, and this
we are
is the.
seeing the PPT. Are you sharing us something?
Oh,
see.
sorry. Sorry, I needed to share my whole screen. Sorry. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the performance test which when there are 2,000
Yes.
connections, 2,000 requests in the same time in a second. And
So this is the
log,
connection
the PG
trend.
log.
Yeah.
Yeah, the log is very high during this time. And after we have employed to disable some poor count and poor time, the log almost lost. This is the connection. The log is very, very low. Yeah.
Nice.
Currently. And after we disabled the poor count and poor time, and the concurrent request can be 4,000 key. 4,000, yeah, 4,000 concurrent. And most of the requests are succeeded. 9,900.
Okay, so this is already the new version, right? So after your modifications.
Yeah, we have this is the test result based on the 2.3.5.
Okay. And so you reduced the amount of logs needed for from 400,000 to 400. Do I see it right?
Yeah. In the 4K concurrency pool, we noticed that there are thousands log in the database. So we modified some code for updating pool count and pool time. So that patch works for us, and it will reduce the log count. But by the way, Chen is drafting another proposal to have a fully solution to resolve this problem in 2.5. And the roughly idea is that we want to use async mode to update pool count and pool time instead of
So you want to update the counters in async mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all for the database.
Well, that's good news, huh? I mean, it's a huge progress. That's very good.
Okay, next on the list, except if you want to add something else, Vadim?
No, I'm fine. I mean, it's really nice. It's well done. So it's a.
Okay, next I have how to set up monitoring environment.
Okay.
Hey. want to share?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hello everyone. My name is Chen Yu Zhang and I'm from VMware Harbor team. And today I want to share about how to set up a monitoring environment with Harbor. So firstly, I want to introduce the background of this document. Currently, the perf repository, yeah, as you see, this perf repository under the Go Harbor organization provides the ability of performance testing, which includes prepare different size data on a fresh installed Harbor and run API tests. And finally, a performance report can be generated after running the performance test. But in addition to focusing on the performance test reports, the runtime metrics are also very important for us to help analyze the performance problems. For example, we also need resource usage and distributed tracing capabilities to help locate performance bottlenecks. So here is an example to show how to set up a monitoring environment with Harbor. Okay, so first we need to deploy Harbor, and we can download offline installer to install Harbor. These documents are based on Harbor 2.4 version because the trace feature was delivered at Harbor 2.4. So after you download the offline installer, you need to change your Harbor configuration. There are two configurations need to change. One is you need on-command metric related fields to enable Harbor metrics because the default value is false, which means metric were disabled. And another is trace. You need on-command trace related fields to enable Harbor tracing. In addition to set true to the trace enabled, another you need to configure the endpoint of this address to send your data to Jaeger endpoint. So next, I want to introduce some popular monitoring components, and CAdvisor and the PostgreSQL exporter are used to collect the metrics of container and PG. CAdvisor is a tool which can analyze resource usage and the performance characteristics of running containers. It is an open source project from Google, and the PostgreSQL exporter can expose PostgreSQL database metrics. And Prometheus and Grafana and Jaeger are the tool which has the UI, and it's usually used for visualization. Prometheus is a systems and a service monitoring system. It is very popular in cloud native platform. And Grafana is also work with Prometheus, and it is an open and composable observability and data visualization platform which can visualize metrics, logs, and trace from multiple data sources. Jaeger is a distributed tracing platform. But if we need to install these components manually, it will be very hard and it will cost too much time. So to simplify the deployment of these components, we have integrated a simple Docker Compose YAML for one-click deploy. So you just need to copy below 2 YAML files to the Harbor install folder. The first one is Prometheus configuration, and you can see it's some configurations about Prometheus, and below is some static scraper targets for Prometheus. And another is monitor.yaml. This will deploy these five components: C advisor, Harbor DB exporter, Prometheus, Grafana, and Jaeger. And if you use these two files, deployment has become very easy. We only need to append compose CLI pushing to Harbor and the monitor together by one command. You just need append one monitor.yaml to deploy this. So, and after these components container be ready, we can open the browser with this address to access Grafana, and this for Jaeger. But for Grafana, we require adding Prometheus as data source because of the Prometheus is running in the same network with Grafana. So we can just configure the data source endpoint by service name like HTTP Prometheus and port. No need to use IP address. And then we need import dashboard to Grafana manually. Here are some useful dashboards from the community. Okay, and after you do the these steps, you can do some operation to your Harbor, and you can see some metrics from the Grafana. Okay, so let's do a quick demo about these steps. I have copied these two files to my environment. One is Prometheus.yaml and another is monitor. Okay, then we can use Docker Compose. And
sorry, we can't see your screen now. Probably.
Okay, sorry.
You have to share your terminal.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
No.
Can you see my terminal now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Sorry, I say again. I have copied the two files to my environment. One is Prometheus.yaml and another is monitor.yaml. If you don't change any other if you don't custom any other configuration in the Harbor.yaml, you don't need to change anything in these two files. So let's deploy just by one command. And you need append the monitor.yaml and up with backend. Okay. Let's wait a moment. Okay, as you can see from the log, it help us create C advisor, Prometheus, Grafana, and Jaeger. Okay, let's check the health of containers. Okay, let's wait a moment. Harbor is starting. Okay. So we can open the browser to see the Grafana dashboard. So I have imported these string dashboard before I do the demo. If you fresh install, you will need to import the dashboards manually. It's very easy. Just click the sidebar A button and use import. And if you have a Grafana dashboard ID, you can just copy it and load it. And if your configuration was provided by JSON, just passed it to this text box, and just load it. It will import to your Grafana. So let's just see. So first, I want to share is the Harbor dashboard. So you can see the it will have many panels grouped by some feature. So first is info. It represents Harbor Health and some component status, and some these are some general metrics like processor CPU time, ghost rates, and go routines number, and so on. And next is the core metrics. It has some API request time for Harbor. And next is the job service metrics. It will show some job service related metrics. And the last one is the registry metric. It is exposed by distribution, and you can see some metrics about registry healthy. Okay. So another is Docker C Advisor dashboard. This will have two parts. One is node. It's a summary information about the node, which like how many containers running in your host, and CPU core, and CPU and memory usage, and some summaries data. Okay, and by the all we can see some details on some containers, like which we can see the different component, different container use the CPU usage and memory usage, and this is disk IO, and this is network. We need to change the net interface to ETH0. Yeah, and it can display the network IO information. Okay, the last one is PostgreSQL. So firstly, it has some general counters like version, start time, max connections about this PostgreSQL, and the average CPU usage, average memory usage, and open file, and some static settings about the PostgreSQL, like shared buffers, effective cache, and so on. So below are some database states like transactions, log tables, and some buffers, and conflicts, and so on. So currently we think these three dashboards are useful for us to analyze Harbor performance problems and some issues. Okay, that's all my share. Thank you.
Is it possible
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, hi, sorry. Go ahead, Jolly.
Oh no, I just want to say that's very good. Thanks, team.
Is it possible to share the Jaeger interface and show some?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to show
No.
the Jaeger endpoint. Yeah, you can see the Jaeger. We find trees. Currently, we have three group: Harbor core, Harbor job service, and the registry control. And by this, we can see some health check request of these components. It's all about health check. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And again, I would love to ask you if you can make like is that part of the perf repository, right, under Go Harbor?
Yeah, it's under the wiki.
Mm-hmm.
It's posted on the wiki of Go Harbor perf repository.
Great. Because I haven't followed that repository, so that's completely new for me. I'm not sure how much of that what you showed is new or it was existing already, but that's great for community engagement. I mean, if we can do like a blog post or short video, and I can see that's only local for now. I mean, you use Docker Compose to run that locally. Have you? Do we have it like a setup to run all that Kubernetes native, like in Kubernetes, to deploy the Grafana, Prometheus, and etc.?
Yeah, I think we can record a short video demo for that.
That would be great. And yeah, and do we have the manifests for Kubernetes, or we have them only for the YAML files for the Docker Compose?
Currently, we only have the configuration for Docker Compose, but I think the Kubernetes version can be posted after few days or few weeks, because a member from community want to contribute for the Kubernetes version.
Yeah.
Great. And do we have an open issue or PR for this one from this member?
No.
Not yet. This
Okay.
tool is just for the community user to have a one-stop setup for Harvard to monitor and their performance. We just provide a guidance for the community user and a one Docker Compose file. So the user from the community wants to have contribute on the Kubernetes version, but it depends on his schedule.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Thank you for the effort. Actually, I'm gonna deploy that right away after the call, so I can play with it. Okay. Anyone else? Because my topic compared to the previous ones is just ridiculous. It's I'm not sure if you can recall, we had a demo from these guys from Peritas for the chatbot in the channel. It's halfway set up, so you can see the Peritas Ask in the channel and Peritas Connect in the channel. So you can start interacting with them if you want to give it a try. And Santosh needs to set up something else from their side to be fully functional. So I'll keep you updated on this one.
Okay, cool.
Another topic from my side. Today, FOSDEM opened their call for papers. So feel free. It's going to be virtual. So feel free to submit any topics. I think that the proper devroom, so the proper track will be containers. And don't forget to submit your call for papers form for KubeCon EU until December 17th, I believe. I'm going to put this over here so not to forget. That's a continuation of this one. And two updates. Another update update from my side. There is a PR currently going for the governance doc. Needs some adjustment to implement special interest groups, and that will be SIG community, which will, for now, will contain the community management, the program management, and the documentation. So that will, part of that SIG will be, initially will be me, Alex, and Abby. So we can facilitate these efforts and to be properly added to the CNCF maintainers list. And not to be actual code maintainers, but to exist as a maintainers of that SIG. So I'll ping you. I think if you haven't checked that, there's a PR from Jonas about this one. So this one. So please take a look if you have something to add. If not, I think we can merge it at some point.
Yeah, I have a point to add that we for the translations, you know, I think it would make sense to have a section for people who do contribute translations for Harbor, you know, so they can take on the and maintain translations.
So you mean we can create a work group for this one, and like a sub team in the org, and
Exactly.
which is different from the docs working group, right? If I'm getting it right. So, and I suppose that can be part of the community management or community effort SIG anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. We discussed that with Jonas and Chris Azancek from CNCF. And if we introduce more SIGs, then this one, like SIG docs, SIG translations, SIG, you name it, it will make it more complicated that we actually need it. So, so something like SIG community engagement is good enough as a start. And then if we need, we can fork out the SIG docs, for example, or SIG translations if the effort is too big and needs like a different governance and different members.
Okay.
If
that makes sense.
Yeah. So at least that's my my understanding. Let's keep it simple, and then we can expand it if we actually need to expand on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna add those topics into the agenda for today. Anyone else? No.
Yeah, I have maybe something that for sharing with you. I created a new project which is called, you know this awesome lists that are there, you know, like awesome Node.js, awesome Golang, and I created an awesome list which is called Awesome Harbor, which contains you know, articles, projects that you know, make Harbor an awesome registry, an awesome project. And you can check it out and visit it, and you can stare it, and I'll kind of contribute and gather information about projects that are using Harbor or projects that are built on top of Harbor. And there is already a small list of projects, and I'll, you know, scout the internet and articles about Harbor and try to add them here so that we have a kind of a awesome list of references on Harbor and related to other awesome projects. I know there's this concept, awesome Kubernetes, and so it's falls in line a bit with other awesome related projects. So if you like it, stare it, bookmark it, and if you have ideas, you can just ping me on Slack and point me to and say, hey, I found something that I should add to the list, and then I'll add it.
Actually, I'm gonna take that new project of yours and tweet about it, so the community who is reading our tweet can contribute back as adopters or.
Yeah, exactly. As adopters, there's also kind of a list of adopters. There's already some people contributed there, and I have, I mean, if we have still time, I have another question, and it's about the the project that Steven is working on. You see it also. It's a project. It's number 2. It's called Harbor project. It's called Harbor Automate 4K8S. It's a part of the day 2 operations, and maybe I would like to ask if Steven could tell something about this project. I'm just pasting it here, which is it's a very interesting project, and I just stumbled upon this project by coincidence. It's not under Harbor. It's under his SC Labs. I think it's under his username, something.
Is that
So
Steven Zhu?
No, I pasted the
yeah,
link in the chat.
Oh, you pasted it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so Steven is here, and so I was wondering, yeah, about the project and progress, because this is also part 2. This is also part of the day 2 day 2 Harbor operations, and basically integrating Harbor better with Kubernetes. And there's a lot of things going on here, which is very, very interesting. And I would like to see if Steven or could yeah, tell something about that.
Yeah, Steven, you're not here today. Actually, he is driving the community work group. I mean the operator work group to work on some task with day 2 operation.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something here. They also have worked on. Yeah, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay, because this project is also mentioned in the Harbor operator. So if you look at the Harbor operator, and there is also downstairs mentioned that there's a reference to this project, and I just stumbled upon by coincidence when working for this awesome list, and this looks very promising. And I don't know if we could kind of get more attention on that, or maybe have a community discussion on that or presentation on that project in the community. This would be, I think, very helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think you can pin Steven. He's like,
okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll do so. Okay, that's it from my side. I have no questions.
Things to read today after the call. Okay, anyone else? If not, it's already too late in China, so you can drop off. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next time. I'm gonna end that meeting today, and see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.